Hello and welcome to our patron-only Arty Class webinar hosted by Shopkeep Arty. As you know, we scour the world for some of the best artists and provide free-to-all Arty Class webinars every Tuesday, but on Thursdays we hold Arty Classes for our patrons only, those of you kind enough to support us in keeping us going with this initiative. And since it's for patrons only, you're guaranteed a webinar spot. So welcome and feel free to ask a question direct to Helga or type it in the Q&A. We're all yours for 45 minutes. Although this is for patrons, we do also live stream on YouTube at the same time. And although it's slightly delayed, you can still type a question. And if you'd like us to put it to the artist, I'll keep my eye open for that as well. After a few weeks, we removed the YouTube videos from YouTube and we archive them in our virtual library for our patrons. And I'll just show you the library of resources now that we are starting to build up. So if I just go to our Arty Class library, it's hours and hours of top quality art tuition, as many times as you like via the patron dashboard from lots and lots of great artists, Helga being one of them. Just needs to load a few more there we go. And then obviously once you've enjoyed an Arty class, the artist will sometimes offer a longer workshop webinar where they will share many more tips and techniques with you. And here's just a flavor of some of the more exclusive workshops that we've done, which last 2 to 3 hours, something like that. Or with Robert's last night, it stretched to 3.5 hours. It was quite an in-depth one, but lots and lots of different great workshops that you can join. Again, there is actually a level on the Patreon thing where you can watch those as well. To join in a private workshop, the price is £35 plus £15 if you want the video. So that's £50. Or if you unlock the Patreon tier, which is £54, it's just £4 more, you get entry to the live workshop of your choice that month, the video unlock, plus all the Arty Class video archives, plus entry to our patron-only Arty Classes. So actually, it's exceptional value. And I just wanted to kind of try and reiterate that, because actually, if you're going to take part in a workshop once a month or something like that, it's a fantastic value option to do. And you can upgrade to this level 1 month, downgrade the next. You can switch it around as many times as you want. So I urge you to kind of investigate that a little bit more. And there's some other tiers as well that you can investigate. And it's got all the benefits in the bullet points. This week, we're welcoming back Helga Picknell, who has taught a great variety of students from primary and secondary education through to prison rehabilitation programs and special needs education. In 2009, Helga set up an artistic daycare centre for adults with special needs, which is a fantastic project. And I know she's had a few issues with this lockdown, which I can only just imagine what some of the issues are. I'm amazed she has any time for us still at the moment, to be honest, but she's done a fantastic job and really here to help support her in those programs. So Helga's work has also, as a professional artist, been displayed in several exhibitions, including the Museum of Modern Art in Brussels as well. So we'll stop around halfway to take a short break and ask Helga to outline her exclusive workshop, which is actually happening this time, I think next week, or not this time, I think it's at 3:30 next week. We are also launching a new initiative today where you can get a free pass to a workshop webinar of your choice. And I'll explain a little bit more about that at halfway as well. But for now, without further ado, let's get our paintbrushes ready and let's hand over to Helga. Hello, Helga.
Hello, thank you, John. Hello, everyone. Right, so we've got a good 40 minutes to hopefully sort of create a painting. My sort of actual work, what I really do is kind of make collage within a collage. So I look at different photographs, or I will make different sketches from a place, and then I kind of put them all together in one picture. So that's how I like to work, and then within that I like to put an actual collage bit as well. So that's why I sort of call it a collage within a collage. So we better get cracking. So if we sort of look at the actual work, so this is what we are hoping to achieve today.
Don't mind me saying that sounds a little ambitious.
It'll be fine. It's fine. It's quite. I've tried to think of a sort of a quick way of working, basically. So hopefully we can do this. Like John said earlier, I've got some texture on here. Don't know whether you can see this. So I'm going to just quickly move this. So I've already put the texture onto my canvas.
Oh, you've cheated.
Well, yes, absolutely. I'm just going to put my painting over there. There we are. So this is something that you can do afterwards as well, and then put a bit more paint on. But I've done it now. So basically, all this is, for those who have guessed it already, it's eggshell. So I basically keep the eggshells and leave them to wash them. I wash them, very important. I leave them to dry. And then when I've cooked something in the oven, when it's all out of the oven, I just put the eggshells in there for 5 minutes when the oven's turned off, but still hot. And they're dry, they become really, really brittle. And you just crush them with pestle and mortar. And yeah, and then you basically, I've put loads of PVA glue on there and sprinkled them on. And there somehow a pea got in there as well. So that's okay, that's added texture. That's fine, that's okay. They actually make very...
Hopefully Boris the dog won't be going for that.
Sorry?
Hopefully Boris the dog won't be going for the pea.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, no. Right, so that's texture, that's nice and dry. So this is something obviously we can't fit in 40 minutes because yeah, it takes a little while to dry. So we're going to start with a background, and I mentioned to have a roller, a little sort of radiator roller, and I'm just sort of using a tray of the actual thing it came with. And what I've done is I've put a little bit of water into it. So if you've got a pipette, just a little bit, not too much, or if you've got a spray handy, just a couple of sprays, just to make it a little bit moist. And in there, I'm just going to put the colors that I kind of want for the sky. So I'll definitely want white, which is over there. So the whole thing, again, no clue how it will turn out, because what I like to do is mix the colors onto the canvas. So I'll pick all the colors up with a roller and we'll just see what happens. That's okay. I'm going to put a little bit of Naples yellow in there. If you haven't got those colors, don't worry about it too much. Most of you will have yellow ochre. So if you are taking part, that's a nice tone to put in there. And I'm going to put I'll put a bit of yellow ochre in there actually. There we are, a few dots of yellow ochre. Oh, that was a raw umber. Oh, well, that will do as well. And I'm going to put a little bit, teeny bit of turquoise on there. So far, oops, I've got a few dots like that. Okay.
Now that eggshell, Helga, that you got on there, is that something that you're going to expand on a little bit more in the workshop that you do?
That's right, yes. So next week, this sort of one I prepared earlier scenario.
Oh, hang on. Can you put it on the board? Yeah, yeah.
Oh God. So yes, so this is the one or something similar we will be doing in the workshop. So there is eggshell on this one as well, and there are other things. I will later on maybe sort of talk my way through it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll do that at half time anyway. We don't want to. We've kind of stolen the thunder there, but anyway, don't worry.
Oh, that's all right. Oops. Right, here we are. So, so I'm just going to sort of roll that in there a little bit. So it doesn't matter where the colors land up. That's part of the fun. There we are.
You're not really mixing them up. You're kind of doing them one way so that it's got different lines of color.
The colors are kind of on there separately now, a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's all right. That's okay. I'm just going to spray the canvas a little bit. There we go. Right. If you get thick blobs, don't worry about it. They will spread them out. It's a really quick way of working, but it also takes away that horrible white of the canvas. So.
It's almost like a method of toning your canvas or preparing your canvas, isn't it? But doing it with the...
Yeah, sometimes I use a sponge as well. It's also great, great fun just to sort of get something on there. All the expensive things again.
So I'm just looking at the chat, and it sounds like some of the people from the US that are watching. So we've had Cynthia in Madison, and it's very chilly there. But Debbie, I didn't know you'd been poorly, Debbie. So I'm glad you're back with us. So thank you so much for coming back, and I hope you enjoy the next few weeks or whatever. But she's in northern Texas, and they've had days and days of 100+ degrees, which sounds incredibly hot, but it's a bit cooler this morning, so that's welcome. All these different when we were doing Randy Hale on Tuesday this week, they've had all those forest fires in Colorado or California and everything, and it's been so hot and everything, and it was forecast snow on the Tuesday, which was incredible, really. I think there's so much weird stuff going on with climate patterns at the moment.
Yeah, there was somewhere around, I can't remember where it was, where it went from really, really hot to freezing and then back to really hot again.
Yeah.
I can't remember where it was now. That was mad. Sorry, my dog's really annoying. Stop.
Boris is really annoying. Surely not.
I want a little bit of something dark sort of happening. So I've taken some dark blue, could be ultramarine. I'm using Windsor blue with a little bit of burnt umber, because it sort of creates a little bit of a dull color. And I'm just again going to roll that in. So I'm not applying any pressure on the roller, sort of let the roller do the work. I'm just sort of changing direction here and there to kind of create an atmosphere. I'm going to do the same thing again. Whoops. just every now and then spray a little bit of water onto the canvas. It just allows you to manipulate the paint for a little bit longer, because acrylic dries so quickly otherwise.
So Helga, what I want to know is when you're doing some DIY at home and you're having to paint a room, is it you that gets the roller?
Always. In fact, the one I did on Sunday, the one I was on there earlier, that was with paint because it was a creamy colour. I actually, instead of Naples yellow, I just had that on one of the rollers. I thought, oh, that'll do. It worked quite nicely, so that's good. Any questions, anyone? Nothing?
No, it's all looking
Like it.
pretty quiet.
Right, so I've got a picture, just a photocopy, and I'm just gonna cut it out. So I'm going to try and do a very similar one to the one I've done before. The dog's just standing here thinking he's going to get something exciting, and he's just got a piece of paper. Right, so got our lighthouse, and going to put some PVA glue on the back.
And where was that lighthouse picture from?
That's Dungeness, which is really close to where I live. It's a very quirky place. So I'm in Kent. Yeah, if you ever get the chance to go there, just like you're in a different world almost.
And is it literally a photo of the lighthouse, or is it something that you've?
No, it's just a photograph. I just found it on the internet, really.
Okay.
I typed in Dungeness lighthouse newspaper, and
Okay.
it's just right. I would normally do these in a different order, but I student, obviously. There we are. So we're going to try and kind of make that, because we don't want it just to be stuck on like this. So I've got a thing called glaze medium. If you haven't got it, it doesn't matter. Just water down your paint a little bit more. But so it makes glazes. So it basically makes a transparent layer of whatever color you add to it. But when I do work with collage in my work, I actually paint that on, and then I very carefully work with colors into it to kind of make it appear like it's part of the work. Right, so
Linda's asked, should we have brought collage? And I guess yes. I can't remember whether that was in the materials list. It was.
Pretty sure I wrote it in there to print it, to have a look and type in Dungeness.
Yeah.
I'll look for a photocopy. If you've got a newspaper or something laying around, or a magazine, you could tear something out.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a lighthouse, does it?
No, not at all.
And if you need a bit more time, Linda, I mean, one of the things you could do is maybe watch this video, because it'll be on YouTube afterwards, so you can always watch it later. So if you go to our Arty Classes page and then click on this session, and we'll put the link to the video once.
Yeah, because I'm going quite quick as well. I'm sort of trying to
45 minutes. 45 minutes.
Oh God. It goes so quick, doesn't it?
Oh, I know.
Right, so because of the glaze, so I sort of put the paint on like normal, but then it mixes with the glaze. So the glaze, for those who've never used it, it's white. So this here is the glaze, but it dries clear. So I like to sort of kind of scribble with my paintbrush as well. It sort of creates different effects, and it's a little bit of fun, really. So I'll just leave that for now. It does take a lot more work, but I just want to kind of at least try and show you parts of everything. So what I've also done is, let's have a look. So I've created some different kind of impressions of buildings, and when you look at the area, there are old railway tracks there, and there are buildings that are sort of neglected, and so I've tried to get that atmosphere in there, but in a sort of slightly more abstract way. So all I do is just have a piece of paper. Let me just grab my paint. I'll just mix some burnt umber and some Naples yellow and a little bit of white, all on one brush. I'm not covering, am I?
Susie said that looks like they've painted the lighthouse. It's plain dark grey now. Is that right? Is that in real life, I guess, maybe Susie's saying that. Have they painted the lighthouse?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry, I got the wrong end of the stick there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
so have they actually painted it all sort of a grey now or something in real life?
I'm pretty sure it's got black, grey, black on there now.
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Look nice with the stripes, like you've got it in the old days.
Yeah, actually. But the photograph had two on there, two lighthouses, so I'm not quite sure what that's all about.
Oh, okay. So tell us about the history of Dungeness then. Where do you know much about it? You may not. So you're trying to create very defined lines here, is that right?
Yeah, just to get sort of the effect of all buildings and bits and pieces on there. There's a lot of sort of, when you go there, lots of rusty things laying about, and so I'm using, I love this color. So it's a burnt sienna, and it's a very coppery feel. It really works beautifully for something like this. And then I'm going to put some copper in there as well, which is the aqua bronze, but it's copper, so it's a bit confusing. So I will put that on the eggshells in a minute and everything. How are we doing for time? It's like, oh God. Come back to the buildings in a second. So I'll just show we'll come back to that. So I'm just going to show the aqua the aqua bronze. For those who've done classes with Jane Bettridge, I'm sure she'd have used this as well. So it's a powder, and you can dilute it. So if I put it on my palette, you can add a teeny little bit of water. You can dilute it, so then you actually just have a fluid, which is copper. So you can paint it on like so, or you could lay it flat and actually sprinkle the powder onto the shells in this case. Or you can spray and spray it wet, sorry, and then sprinkle it on, and that works as well. So you just get different effects really. I will paint it on this time because I can't sort of start to lay it flat now. So as soon as it hits the wet surface, it settles onto the canvas. So it's great fun. Sort of mixes with the acrylics as well.
Don't forget, it's good to have a halfway stop at some point.
Yeah, feel free.
Now, Linda's asked, why are you using a card when you put the paint on? And I guess that was where we were talking about trying to show buildings in a way, weren't we?
Yes. It just gives you nice, crisp outlines. Yeah. So rather than use, for example, some people would use a rigger brush and try and get it all nice and precise. This is just so easy. So it's, yeah.
And then Susie's asked, could you add the glaze medium to the copper powder instead of water?
I will try that. I don't know. Let's have a look. It's tricky to tell what will happen when it dries, but we'll try it on an area and see what will happen later. So worth a go. Because as the glaze medium dries, is transparent when it dries, it's a clear thing. It might work, so we shall see. So I don't know whether you wanted a break now, because then I can do the other bits and pieces afterwards.
Yeah, okay. Susie said actually it might seal it better if you add the glaze medium to the copper powder.
No, it does. Yeah, no, it does work even just with water, because it just sits and that's it. It dries. It's fine.
So, yes, should we do a little? We'll do a little pause. We can talk about what you're you're going to be focusing on a little bit more of a more detailed composition, urban composition with Dungeness, aren't you?
Okay.
Is that good? So let's just quickly take a pause. I know Helga's really, she gets into it as we're going along, which is great. So I'll just ask Helga to outline her workshop, which is going to be about 2 to 3 hours next Thursday, I think, at 3:30. And she'd already pulled it out a little bit earlier, so you've probably seen this, but we'll go over to it now.
Yeah.
And so take us through what you're going to be doing in the workshop, Helga.
Right, so it's quite similar, but obviously because we have more time, we can actually do the eggshell, use a hairdryer. I think a hairdryer wasn't on the list actually, so that might be a good thing just to have the dry process there. So lots of different ways of working. Again with collage, something like this, what I will do is I will scan it in for you, John, and then you can, for the people who will join, you could maybe, so they can print it off.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good as a proper reference.
That's it. And so there'll be things in there, lots of different ways of working really, stenciling, texture, working with bits of string into it, again gluing. So again, very much collage, but it just allows us to go just that little bit slower and to finish it, properly. So again, you need some photographs, which again I can upload and send to John, some photographs that we can then use within the collage. So lots of different sort of ways of working really. You can still use the roller, palette knife.
Notice, is that a bit of cork you've got there on the...
Sorry?
Is that a bit of cork that you've got there? I can't quite...
Oh, God.
Oops.
Sorry.
If you just knock the... Okay, don't worry. Yeah, just that bit there that you put your hand on.
Oh, sorry.
All right, it's all right. It's all right.
Sorry, everyone.
Oh! Yeah, perfect.
Not quite. Yes. No, it's not cork.
Okay. Sorry, it looks a bit like cork from here, but
it's really quite amazing. I believe it's wallpaper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really quite special wallpaper from a shop in Belgium.
Oh, wow. Gosh.
They were selling off their, the books just with the samples. And I saw it, I was like, oh.
You'll be able to do a bit of a list of the types of collage items you're looking for,
yes,
so that people can look out for those to add to their creation when we're doing it. And it's going to be on a canvas, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, on a canvas. I used a canvas board, but you can just use a thick canvas. The boards are a bit more robust to work on. So especially if you work with a roller or something like that, you can apply a bit more pressure. So again, mixing the paint on the canvas for the sky, printing into it. A bit of everything really.
Yeah, great. And as is normally the way with Helga, there's always go off on a little bit of a tangent, learn different things, and she always gets a bit creative. So it'll be nice, relaxing time. There's different artists with different sort of feelings. Robert Dutton, it was very frantic last night. I think people were finding they were doing almost like a bit of a workout. I think with Helga it'll be a nice sort of relaxing time. Jean's just said I did the workshop yesterday. Yes, yeah. Jean's just said I did the workshop yesterday, but can't find where to upload my pictures. Sorry, it's not about this workshop. Yes, just reply to the email that you got the invite for, and attach it as a picture. We can add it to the blog then, because we have with all the workshops, treat that slightly differently. The Arty classes, we do a Facebook post. So this one we'll do a Facebook post, and for the workshops we put those on our blog on Shopkeep Arty. So hopefully that helps. Now, I mentioned to you all at the beginning that there was a new initiative to get yourself a free pass to a workshop, and This is over and above what you would get being a patron. So if you get this and you had a free workshop place as well, then you could have 2 that month. So it's for any workshop your friends to do a workshop, you get a free pass. So it's fairly simple. So you can either collect £35 from each of your friends and get yourself a free place, or you could each share the thing and it's under £30 then each for the workshop. So it's up to you how you want to use it. But all you need to do is when you are booking your workshop, you purchase 5 seats, 5 tickets, and once we get 5 tickets through, we know that you've got that thing, and we'll contact you and ask you who the 6th one should be for, and we'll then add them for free. So hopefully that makes sense. Brilliant. And that's applicable. They don't have to be patrons, by the way. That's open to everyone. So but we thought we'd let you know first. So let's go back to this painting, and I think it's a great feature. I think it looked great on any, and both your workshop one and this one as well, Helga. I think they've got a really interesting feel about them, both from a texture and also a 3-dimensional quality, but also using all the different media. It's a nice way to bring all those things together.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So just going to balance the colors, because I've got a lot of copper on this side, on the right hand side. So I just want to add some different tones, or the same tone over here, just to balance it. This is the Windsor blue again. So it's quite a vivid, quite a strong blue, but it's great when you mix it with brown tones. Sorry about the snoring in the background, that's Boris.
Is he fast asleep?
Horrible, snores really loud. So that's sort of the idea. I'm just going to try and show a bit of printing into it as well. So I do that a lot. So just bits of paper, reasonably good watercolor paper, or if you've got just little bits of packaging, something like that, because you can bend it. So if you want to print in here, you can just sort of copy the shape and go with that. So I'm just going to make up a little bit of slightly more watered down.
So Susie said that she's found the same picture that you're using eventually by searching for old Dungeness Lighthouse newspaper picture.
Perfect.
So she put in old Dungeness Lighthouse newspaper picture, and she said you might be able to tell that I'm just watching today, and she's loving the snoring.
Not me. So yeah, so I'm just sort of dipping it in. So this is a little bit more runny than from the tube, so a little bit of water with that. So just to again make it more look like a painting, just going to print into it. I've just dragged it into a little bit of white as well, just so it's just one boring colour.
So you like using little bits of card and the defined edges, don't you, Helga?
I like, because it's not like precise, and it's just, I don't know, it's just got a bit of character, really, I guess. Because you don't want it to be too correct, otherwise I might as well.
Well, it's not on a building, is it? It's pretty, or nature in general.
I keep drying my brush, so I'm working with nothing basically, and then you just drag the paint into it. So I'm slightly rounding that so that to create the three-dimensional effect.
So what are you trying to do here? Is this part of a building or something?
And just buildings. There are railway. There's railway lines here and there. So I'm just going to try and print them, or just just that suggestion of. My paint's quite wet underneath still, so this might go very wrong.
I'm just doing a slightly different angle here, Helga, because your head's in the way of the camera. But no, it's okay. It's okay.
Really hard.
I know. I know.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. You could work into this if we had more time with soft pastel as well, and then sort of lay it on there so it catches the surface of the texture. But we haven't got that kind of time. So basically, if you do my workshop, you need everything.
So it's going to be collage, eggshell, watercolor.
I think that's what art is all about. It's very difficult to sort of say almost in advance what exactly it is you're going to need, because you kind of do it at that moment, and it's whatever the painting needs, isn't it?
Yeah. So it truly is mixed media.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can we look back, because you did another painting like this, didn't you? Have you got that to hand so we can just see roughly what you're sort of using as inspiration to kind of build up towards?
This was the other one.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
I see, yeah.
Don't know if I can. No, you can't see it, can you? No. So I'm just gonna do another suggestion of a building.
So Susie's asked, if you add loose pigment like soft pastels, do you need to seal it somehow to stop it rubbing off when dusted, etc.? Or
Yeah.
do you have to put it under glass?
There's a good trick for that. There is actually a product you can buy, which is it's pastel ground. So if this would be dry, you could paint an area on, could paint over this with this. Again, it dries clear. And then it's fine to use with pastel, so you can then work with soft pastel into it, and it will just stick to it. Or if we, for example, I mean, we can do this in the workshop, work with soft pastel, you could scrape parts of soft pastel onto it. You can then press with a piece of paper onto it with something like greaseproof paper, press onto it, and it will stick onto it, be absolutely fine. And even so, if you just worked into this, there's so much texture on there, it'll just grab it. It'll be fine. You don't need to spray it or anything like that. Just that.
And actually, Susie, if you're interested in pastels and everything, I would highly recommend. There's a lady called Margaret Glass who we featured some months ago, and she was president or vice president of the Pastel Society in Paris, and she like one of the leading pastelists. So if you happen to be able to, if you're on our Patreon thing and you can watch the Arty classes, I think she called it Mugshot, and she was just doing a mug in pastel, but she talks all about the techniques and everything like that. That's a really good one to watch. And she also did a workshop where she did a coastal landscape, and that was really, we didn't have that many people attending the workshop, but it was really good. So I'd highly recommend that if you happen to go and look it up on our old things, Margaret Glass. Yeah, it's a different skill, isn't it, with pastels, Helga? Each medium has its own skill, doesn't it?
And then again, each medium has different ways of working with it, and different people will work in different ways.
Yeah,
there's no right or wrong. The pastels are beautiful. I love working with pastels, even just on their own, in their own right, because they are so vibrant. Because you need so many different colors because you're working with a pure pigment. And it's just lovely just to it's a lovely technique. But yeah, that was a good class. I watched that class actually.
Yeah, she was really good. She was one of these I describe, even though she was getting in her mature years, but she was kind of like a diamond in the rough, because she's done so much professional work. She's sold loads of paintings, and she's just lived off that income because she doesn't do that much teaching, but she was a brilliant teacher, I thought. She just doesn't do that much. So she really knew her stuff, and the stuff that she created was just really.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was all done in a very sort of calm, and you learned so much just in half an hour.
Well, her workshop was amazing. She did this scene with boats and the water, and this clouds. I just thought, how can you create that just in pastel? It was always like an oil painting. So incredible.
I'm just what now we've kind of got a, oh god, I keep kicking this thing. We've got a base now, and now it's all about keep looking at it and balancing things out and adding more colors. And so this work is not finished at all, but that's okay. It just gives a little bit of a taster of, yeah, just a bit of fun really. So again, I've got several colors on here, and so I've used very similar colors. I've kept my palette very, very limited as well, which is always a good thing to do, because with a few colors you can achieve yet again so much.
Now, Helga, I'm going to give you a little bit of a time check here because it's coming up. It's 4 minutes to 3.
Oh God. Okay. We finished.
I know you get swept up in your own painting. I know you do.
I do. I know. And then I stopped talking, and because I just
get totally absorbed in it all.
I tell you what else I've done just quickly on this one.
Yeah.
This thing here, it was just a shape, just to have a different shape, because you've got the round shape of the lighthouse. So I wanted to sort of bring that into the work somewhere else. So all I did was put a bit of masking tape on there. I sprayed it, and then I laid it flat. And then I've sprinkled some pastel into it, soft pastel. And because it was wet, I then set it upright again, and it was sort of dripping down. And then as it was almost dry, I then dragged my brush slightly downwards. There was also some of that copper sprinkled into it. What else? I think the rest is pretty much sort of the same as what I've done earlier. Printing, scribbling with my paintbrush. The one we did earlier, it needs more. It needs a lot more, but it's the working method is the same. It's just just time.
Oh, that's brilliant. I've thought of a great analogy for you actually, Helga. So basically, these chefs, these food chefs, you get some that specialize on desserts, some that are on main courses, some that do different things, but you kind of have dabbled into all these areas, and you just throw all these different techniques and ingredients into one thing, which is great. But it's, I think, the great thing, we've not really done a workshop with you before, have we? And I think the workshop, I think, will be a really great time where we can explore all your rationales around why you use this medium with this medium with this medium, and really start to understand those compositional elements. Would you say that that's a fair comment?
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to know all your basics, as it were. It's important to learn to work with all the different mediums, because then you can just put them all together, and yes, and that's what makes it exciting.
But it's quite a feat mixing things together. You kind of need to know what goes with what, a bit like a chef. You wouldn't necessarily put, I don't know, strawberries with, I'm trying to think of what you wouldn't put strawberries in. I'd put strawberries with pretty much anything, but I think you get where I'm coming from. Marion said, thank you, Helga. Just watched today. Really inspired by some of your techniques, mixing all sorts together. Yeah, it's great. Susie, love the tips for using things to make the shapes and clean edges. Very clever. Helga's got some very surprising tips up her sleeve. So I hope some of you will join us next week for this workshop, because I think it really will be insightful to understand how Helga brings these sort of things together. And you do, and I think probably with your students, you probably get inspired by some of the things that they do, don't you?
Absolutely, yes. There's some. You can see. This is my dog they painted. I just love all their work. There's just, their works are amazing. I mean, it's very hard to achieve something like this. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do loads of different things. And again, we work with felt, batik, but then again, you want to then do machine embroidery into it. It's just so versatile. It's never ending. Never ending.
Oh, it's really inspirational. I love it. And so get to work, create your own thing from today's class. We'd love to see it. The Facebook link's on there. If you go onto the Arty Classes website, the link's onto the Facebook post. or just go onto Facebook, search for Shopkeep Arty. You'll be able to see the link there. It doesn't have Helga's picture of this thing. I tried to put it on, and for some reason Facebook was just making it black. So it'll say today's class. So just post your things underneath that, please. And then Helga will be able to have a look at that later. It's always good to see everybody's creations. And obviously, if you want to join us next week, next Thursday, for the workshop with Helga, her thing is on the Arty Classes page on Shopkeep Arty. So visit there, click on the thing, and it will take you through to her shop. And you can either book your place on the live webinar or pre-order the video, and then you'll have access to that. Or if you're a patron and you've got the applicable level, you can get access to it anyway. So thank you so much again, Helga. It's been a real delight. I love it when you come on, and I really appreciate all the different thoughts you've got. Liz has said many thanks. This was so fascinating. Loved every minute. Thank you. Lainey said, so inspiring. Thank you very much. And Debbie said, thank you so much. Very interesting. Loved the class. So Helga, you're an internet sensation. This is going to be going viral.
Ah, I get really shy all the time. So ridiculous, isn't it?
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you everyone. Thanks for attending, and as always, thank you very much for your support as well. And so it's until next Tuesday. We've got some international artists coming up as well. Have a look on the Arty Classes. We've got Poland, New Zealand, Australia. We're going all over the world, so have a look at that. I don't know how applicable that's going to be for our US fans, because the time zone might be a bit difficult for them. But until next week, it's bye-bye from me, and obviously bye-bye from Helga.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Take care.